Good evening. I'm doing a live stream, bro. I'm gonna wait a second before I start. Sometimes these things they cut you off at the beginning on the replay. You gotta wait a second. But today I wanted to talk about Satan. All right. So I titled the video "The Christian Satan is different than the Jewish Satan. They're not the same." Before I have to even go into the lesson, I always have to remind people that Judaism and Christianity are two separate religions. They're not the same religion. And when you have two separate religions, that means you worship a different God. The Jews and the Christians do not worship the same God. That's why they're called different religions. If they worshiped a different God, then Christianity would be considered just a different sect of Judaism, which is not. It's its own religion, the biggest religion in the world. And most Christians would agree that the Muslims and Christians do not worship the same God, but they think that we worship the same God as the Jews. You guys are all messed up in your brain. That's why I'm here to help you out a little bit. Maybe I'll confuse you even more. All right, but the Jewish Satan, Hashatan, and the Christian Satan are not the same. Our perception of what Satan is among Christians. Look, in Christianity, Satan's bad. Satan is evil. That's the source of all evil, right? It's like Satan, the dark lord, the devil. All right, he's bad. He's not good. He's the opposite of God. All right, he does not work with God. He is against God. All right, and that's what all Christians believe. Every Christian I ever met in my life, unless they were Judaized, believed that Satan is the devil and he ain't no good. All right, but that's not what Judaism teaches. Judaism teaches that Satan is he's a beautiful angel. What they might not say beautiful, they'll probably say beautiful. They'll say he's one of the top angels of Yahweh. Because another Judaism is polytheist too, guys. By the way, okay, polytheism. Poly means many. Theist means God. There's many gods. Let us make man after our image. And Elohim said, "What is Satan? Satan is a god. All right, you gonna tell me Satan's not a god? Does he die? Is he human? If he's not a human, then what is he? He's a god. All right." And in the book of Job, Satan meets up with Yahweh. He has a meeting with Yahweh. They have a council with Yahweh, and all the sons of God show up to the council. So in the book of Job, you have Yahweh holding council with the sons of God and Satan. That sounds like Mount Olympus to me, guys. I don't know about you. That sounds like Mount Olympus to me. They're having a council with all the sons of God? Well, the sons of God are just angels. Wasn't Apollo Zeus's son? That's a son of God too. So yeah, that's just Mount Olympus. Yahweh's daggone Zeus. Y'all didn't trick me. It's Satan. Oh man, I gave up the whole video already, bro. Damn, I was trying to surprise you guys. I was trying to hold on to. Yeah, Yahweh's the devil, bro. I was trying to hold off on that, and I just came. I just slipped out, bro. How you guys doing? So yeah, you can read the book of Job, guys. Read it. Read it. Yahweh is holding counsel with the sons of God and Satan. Where they at? Up in the clouds? Where's this council being held at? So you telling me that if we go to the to Yahweh's courtroom, his heavenly abode, if we go to Yahweh's heavenly abode right now, Satan could just walk in there at any minute and be like, "What's up, Yahweh? Awaiting your orders." Because according to that's ridiculous. According to Judaism, Satan works for Yahweh. Satan is 100% obedient to Yahweh according to Judaism and according to the text in the book of Job. Christians don't teach that. That's not what Christianity teaches. Christianity teaches that Satan's the devil. He's the enemy of God. He don't listen to God. But in the Old Testament, Satan does listen to God. That is not what Christianity teaches. You're not going to tell me otherwise. Okay, that's because Yahweh is the devil. Satan is the enemy of God. Yahweh says he's the one who creates evil. Isaiah 45:7. Yahweh said he creates light and darkness. He creates good and evil. Christianity does not teach that God creates evil. Christianity teaches that the devil made evil. So you're not tricking me. I'm not worshiping the devil, bro. I know what's going on. You guys, a lot of you guys out there don't know what's going on. So Yahweh says he creates evil. Isaiah 45:7. He says he creates darkness. Now, does Jesus in the New Testament teach that God creates darkness? Is that what the New Testament teaches, guys? No. Once again, Christianity is a different religion than Judaism. It's a different God. All right, we worship the real God. Yahweh's some ancient barbaric cartoon character like Zeus or Baal. You got to do blood sacrifices for him. You got to feed him blood. Yeah, blood sacrifices are in the Old Testament. I don't know about you guys, but when somebody says the word blood sacrifice, I think about like a black metal band, heavy metal band, worshiping the devil. They got the knife out. They got a goat up on the altar. They're wearing the hoods. They're doing some incantations, probably Latin. Why is the Latin? That's the top. That's the top of witchcraft language or Hebrew. And then they sacrifice an animal. That's devil worshiping, bro. That's what Moses did in the Old Testament. It's that the Old Testament literally says Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, "Behold, this is the blood of the covenant." He did a blood covenant, bro. What's a blood covenant? That's when you worship the devil. Who kills all the people in the Bible? Yahweh. Who says to smash babies in the Bible? Yahweh. Who says to ravish the women? Yahweh. Who says to genocide all the Edomites? Yahweh. That's not a loving God. That's the devil. And you ain't going to tell me otherwise. And once again, go back to Isaiah 45:7. Yahweh says he creates evil. He said, Yahweh, I create the light and the darkness. I create the good and the evil, or the peace and the evil. Yahweh says he creates evil and darkness. So the New Testament does not teach that. You can read the book of First John, my favorite book in the entire Bible, the book of First John. First John 1:5. What does it say? It says, God is light and no darkness at all. God is light and no darkness at all. God is light. God does not create darkness. First of all, darkness does not exist. Scientifically speaking, guys, there's no such thing as darkness. All right. Darkness is just the absence of light. That's all it is. There's no such thing as darkness, actually. So Yahweh's dumb. He doesn't know basic science. That proves to me that Judaism is the philosophical ramblings of a primate caveman. All right, that's the old ways, bro. That's man's old ways of thinking about God. It's the Old Testament. That's like, old Kronos worshippers, old Yahweh worshippers, Baal worshippers, Marduk worshippers. That's them old Stone Age caveman religions. They're putting animals on stone altars, sprinkling blood on people. Like, seriously, that's a caveman religion. Christianity is for the sophisticated man. Judaism is for the retards. Let's be honest, bro. That sounded harsh saying it like that, but it's like what it is. Like, you actually think God gets hungry and needs to eat food, and you have to perform a blood sacrifice like a devil worshiper? Like, what is going on here? All right, let's get back to Yahweh. So Satan. So in Christianity, Satan is bad. Satan is bad in Christianity. That's the devil. Judaism does not view Satan like that. Judaism views Satan as an angel of Yahweh. They say he's an angel, bro. The New Testament says Satan himself has angels. Who has all the angels in the Old Testament? Yahweh. All them, that's Satan and his band of angels. That's Yahweh and all them angels. Okay, that's why I said Yahweh's a devil. All right, that's all I gotta say. He's evil. You guys got to be able to use your own morality that's built inside of your body to be able to tell these things, to be able to tell the difference between good and evil. Look, God, the real God, not Yahweh. All right, he built. We got this morality pre-built in our spirit. You just gotta listen to it. Gotta listen to it. So when you read the Old Testament and it says, "Happy shall he be that smashes babies against the rocks," you should automatically know in your spirit that's wrong and that's evil. It's like smashing babies is evil. That's not a hard one to figure out, but it is for a lot of people. Because they'll say, "Nope, God said to smash babies. We gotta smash the babies. The book said it." That tells you, you're not even in tune with the spirit. You got to follow your spirit. Your spirit is going to guide you in all things. We worship a living God, not static scriptures that don't move and stay frozen in time, or they can be changed. The spirit is pure. The spirit is true. The spirit does not lie. Okay? The hand of a scribe can lie. Okay? Said God creates light and darkness. They made that up. They said God. You read the Old Testament. There's something else too. You read the Old Testament, and it always says, "Thus saith the Lord." It's always claiming Yahweh said something. Like they're speaking for God. "Thus saith the Lord," and Yahweh said this, and Yahweh said this, and Yahweh said that. In the New Testament, God ain't never talking. Well, it may be a couple times in like Matthew, you hear a voice from heaven. They added that part in there. But like you don't see like there is no Yahweh in the New Testament. Okay? Because Jesus' father is not Yahweh. The New Testament said no man's ever seen God. That's not what the Old Testament says. Let's get back to, I got another good point on the devil. There's a good point. There's another good point on the devil. Now, when Jesus was in the wilderness, he was fasting for 40 days and for 40 nights, and he was tempted of the devil, correct? And what happened? The devil or Satan took Jesus up to the top of the mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the earth, and said, "If you bow down and worship me, I will give you all the kingdoms of the earth." That's what the devil promised Jesus, right? Read Deuteronomy verse 28. I'm going to get it. I got a Deuteronomy. What you talking about? We're going to read that, boy. I ain't never grabbed the Bible quicker than that. Boy, I had it right there. So we like a gunslinger. I'm like Billy the Kid with this Bible, bro. Y'all don't want to mess with me. I'm a gunslinger. So you better think twice before you try to, oh shit, you better think twice before you try to shoot at me. You try to draw down on me, boy, you're going to get smoked. It's like, I'm just joking. Deuteronomy 28:1. I know this Bible, bro. Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is Lord, not Yahweh. What is Lord? Lord is Kyrios. The Greek word Kyrios. In the Old Testament, the Kyrios is Yahweh. And in the New Testament, the Kyrios is Jesus. All right, that's the Greek word for Kyrios. And Jesus said, "No man can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon." All right. So, but what it really says in the Greek, no man can serve two Kyrioses, two lords in the Greek. Why does it say that? Why? You cannot serve Jesus and Yahweh at the same time. You cannot serve two masters. There's only one name that every knee's going to bow to, and that's Jesus Christ. It's not Jesus Christ and Yahweh. Yahweh and... You try to slip it. The Jews try to sneak Yahweh in there, and you know what I mean? I ain't letting that happen. You're not tricking me. You guys can fall for the Jew tricks all you want. You ain't tricking me. You fool me once, shame on me. How's that go? Fool me twice, shame... No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me once, can't get fooled again. I messed it up worse than George Bush. Deuteronomy 28:1, bro. What the F you guys talking about? Now, okay, now listen closely. Deuteronomy 28:1. "And thou shalt come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy Elohim will set thee high above all nations on the earth." Now, that's Deuteronomy. Where does this take place at? Where are the Israelites at? Where is Moses? This is Yahweh talking to Moses. They're in the wilderness for 40 years. So Jesus being in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights is a parallel. And it's a reply to this. It's a parable. It's a reaction to this. Or it's commentary on this. It's a parallel. It's a what's the word? It's contradicting us. But anyway, Jesus was in the wilderness 40 years. I mean, see, 40 days. Israelites were in the wilderness 40 years. Same thing. It represents the same thing. Jesus was in the wilderness 40 days fasting. He was fasting. He didn't eat. What were the Israelites doing in the wilderness? They were starving. They were hungry. They were begging Yahweh for food. And what happened when Israelites complained that they were hungry? Yahweh killed them. That's what a loving father does. When your children starve and they say, Dad, I'm hungry, you just kill them, right? It's like a lot of you guys, your moral compass is broken. Your spirit is all messed up. Your brain's messed up. Your moral compass is broken. You need to get it fixed. Otherwise, you're just going to stay lost forever. You're never going to get where you need to be going if your compass don't work. You know what I'm saying? Deuteronomy 28:1, and it shall come to pass, thou shalt hearken diligently unto Yahweh, and to observe and do all of his commandments. He said he will set Moses high above all nations. That's exactly the same thing the devil promised to Jesus, bro. Tell me, right? The devil promised Jesus all nations. You bow down, worship me, do what I say. I'll give you all the nations of the earth. Exactly the same thing Yahweh promised to Moses in the wilderness. Exactly the same thing. And according to the Bible, who does the world belong to? Yahweh, according to the Old Testament. He says the whole world is in his hands. That's his world. There is nowhere in the Bible where it ever says the earth was given into the hands of a being named Satan. It never says that. Okay, it doesn't say that. Yet the earth belongs to Yahweh. So when you read the New Testament and it speaks of the God of this world, the God of this world, who is the God of this world? Yahweh. Who does the Bible say created the world? Like, I know this is going to mess a lot of you guys up in your brain, but that's all right. Yeah, the God of this world is Yahweh. That's the God of riches. All right, that's the God of mammon. No man can serve two masters. It's either Jesus or Yahweh, y'all. All right, it's simple. Yahweh is the devil. Yahweh rewards you with riches. Right? Deuteronomy 28:1. Look, I'm in the same chapter. You can read Deuteronomy 28. And it says, if you don't obey Yahweh, he'll give you plagues. He'll smite thee with madness, with blindness. All them blind people Jesus were healing, they were blind because they got smitten by Yahweh. Jesus had a healing. But one of these punishes, look, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. He says you're going to be poor. This is a very long chapter, so one of the curses for disobeying Yahweh is being poor. So that's why Jesus says, blessed are the poor, because Yahweh curses the poor. Because being poor, according to Deuteronomy 28, is a curse from Yahweh. I bet you guys didn't know that, did you? Did you guys know that being poor is considered a curse from Yahweh? Yes, it is. According to Deuteronomy 28:1. Yes, the blessings and the curses. It's a curse from Yahweh. But Jesus don't say curse the poor. He says blessed are the poor. What was I saying, bro? One of the punishments for disobeying Yahweh is you're going to eat your own children, bro. That's the devil. Who else you know is going to make you eat your own children? That's right here in this chapter. I don't know if I can even find it. Let's see if I can find it. We can read the whole chapter. You can see how crazy this is. The whole Old Testament is batshit insanity. It's insane, bro. I ain't following this. This ain't for me. Look, cursed. It's a God of cursing. Look at this. Look at this. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh, thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and the statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee. You remember when Jesus was constantly cursing people, saying, I'm going to curse you? No, Jesus was blessing people. So Jesus, all through the New Testament, Jesus is healing people. He's blessing them. He's showing love, mercy, compassion. You don't get that in the Old Testament. With Yahweh, you get curse and curse and curse and murder and kill and smash babies, collect the foreskins, do some weird stuff. It's total opposite, bro. Two different religions, two different gods. Christians and the Jews do not worship the same God. They ain't nowhere close. Jews worship Satan. This is the devil right here. This is the devil. Look, and that's tell me this ain't the devil. He said, if you don't listen, Yahweh said, if you don't listen to me, this is verse 16, Deuteronomy 28. Cursed thou shalt be in the city, cursed thou be in the field, cursed shall be thy basket in thy store, meaning you're going to be poor. Curse thy basket. So Yahweh says being poor is a curse. I just read it. Jesus says, blessed are the poor, 100% opposite. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of thy land. Oh, Yahweh said, cursed be thy land. So he's saying Yahweh will, because Yahweh's a primitive storm god. He's like Baal. He's like Zeus. So if you do not satisfy Yahweh, he will withhold rain from you. He will cause the rain to cease and bring a famine upon the land, and you will all starve to death and eat your children. And there's a scripture in Matthew that talks about that. Even though Matthew's a pretty Judaized book, there's still anti-Yahwistic principles in here. Matthew 5. Yeah, Matthew's probably my least favorite gospel. I still like it, obviously, because it's very Judaized. Matthew 5 and was it 45? That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. That's in direct contradiction to what we just read in Deuteronomy. Matthew says God, the Father of Jesus, sends rain on the good and the evil. Not Yahweh. And Yahweh, if you acting evil, you cursed. Cursed thou shalt be in the city. Cursed in the field. Your field's going to be cursed. You ain't getting no crops. Cursed shall thy basket. Cursed be thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed thou shalt be when thou comest in, and cursed thou shalt be when thou comest out. Goest out, whatever, bro. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing. It's just the word curse over and over again. That's the devil. The devil's full of cursings. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand for to do. This is getting hard to read. The old King James messed up Bible. King James is my favorite, bro. But sometimes, let's be honest, it can be a little tricky to read. There'll be some tongue twisters in here. Look, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land. That doesn't sound like a very loving God. Jesus speaks about forgiveness. He says to forgive your brother 7 times 7. How come Yahweh ain't forgiving nobody? He's just going to curse, destroy, die. You going to die. That's what Yahweh said. You going to die, boy. Ain't no, this is the devil. This is evil. And look at the fruits. Who worships Yahweh today? Like, seriously, who follows this Torah and all this stuff? Jews. You shall know them by their fruits. What's the fruits of Yahweh? Jews. Yahweh shall make the pestilence. Man, I'm about to hit Yahweh with a pestilence. He's getting on my nerves. This is evil. Let me go down here. Where's the part about eating the children? I'm trying to see if I can find it. He says he's going to kill your animal. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. Thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away before thy face. The Hebrew Israelites were like, yeah, see, when you being wicked, the law that nowadays that your car getting repoed. That's the modern day donkeys, your car. So they're gonna give your property to your enemies, but sons and daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look the fruit of that land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou now known. So remember. You know what? It's a very good point right here. I could get back to this. I can't find a part about eating the children. I forgot what scripture it was. All these curse upon this. Dang. Man, this whole chapter is evil. I can't find the evil. Somebody give me the scripture. Somebody look up the scripture where it says to eat your children in Deuteronomy 28. Somebody, you know what I mean? Help me out if anybody's still watching. I don't feel like reading this whole chapter. It does say to do that. But let me read something real quick. I'm going to make one more point, and then I'm going to leave. Because this is a really good point right here. I just read something that really got my brain moving. All right. This is a really good point. So Yahweh is saying, if you don't listen to him, this is what's going to happen. He's going to let your enemies come through, steal all your property, steal your lands. He says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. So Yahweh is going to let this happen because he's a loving God. He really cares about his people so much, he lets them be carried away into captivity. Like, oh, what a terrible God. What a terrible protector you are. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day, and there shall be no might in thine hand. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. And that's pretty much the history of the Jews in the ancient world. They did get oppressed a lot. They got jacked up by the Greeks. They got jacked up by the Romans real bad. The Babylonians messed them up. So Yahweh never protected the Israelites. In Exodus 15:3, Yahweh proclaims, I am Yahweh. Or it says, Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Exodus 15:3 says, Yahweh is a man of war. Well, if Yahweh's so daggone good at war, how come the Israelites lost every war they ever fought? They trash. But they lost almost every war. I'm sure they won a few. Barely. They trash. They had the trashiest military in history. So actually, the Jews were killing a lot of Roman soldiers. They were fierce warriors. Actually, they don't resemble the modern Jews too much, but they did kill a lot of Roman soldiers. And they paid the price dearly for that one. Look up some about the Jewish massacring Roman soldiers on Cyprus. Look that up. All right, I want to read this real quick. Since we were talking about Yahweh, Jesus, the wilderness, Deuteronomy. I want to read the bread that came down from heaven. All right. Jesus answered and said to them, blah, blah, blah. Is this where I'm at? Okay. Jesus answered and said unto them, this is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. The Jews didn't believe Jesus. Why? Because he contradicted everything they were ever taught. All right? Because they followed the Torah. They followed the laws of Moses. And that teaches about Yahweh. Jesus was teaching them about the real God. That's why he says, you don't know the Father. If you knew the Father, you would listen to what I was saying. So how the heck, the Jews, that proves Yahweh is not Jesus' Father. Jesus clearly told them, all that came before me are thieves and robbers. You don't know the Father. No man can come to the Father but by me. Fuck out of here. All right. John 6:29. Jesus answered and said unto them, this is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. The only person Yahweh sent was Satan on Job and murdered his children. Yahweh sent Satan on a mission and had Satan and allowed Satan to murder Job's children. Will Jesus do that? Never. Jesus don't work with Satan. Jesus hates Satan. Jesus don't like Satan. That's the enemy. Jesus is the enemy of the devil, bro. Jesus, I can't even do this. Jesus answered us, this is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. They said therefore unto him, what sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What dost thou work? Our fathers did eat manna in the desert. My phone's about to die. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Right. The Israelites were in the wilderness and they hated the manna. They was complaining. They like, this is trash. We want some meat to eat. So Yahweh killed them for complaining. That's what Jesus does. He murders people. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not bread from heaven. He said, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven. So they claimed that was bread from heaven. Moses claimed manna is bread from heaven. Jesus said, nope, that ain't no bread from heaven. That's literally what he said right here, bro. He said it's just trash. He didn't say it was trash, but he said that's not the bread from heaven. He's saying he got some better bread than the manna. So how does Jesus got something better than Yahweh? He was saying Yahweh's bread is trash, is essentially what he's saying. Jesus, but you know, they kept some manna in the Ark of the Covenant supposedly because it was so amazing. It was so amazing they kept some of it. Probably just rice. Our Father, where I've done lost it. Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father give you the true bread from heaven. Okay, he said, but my Father. He said, Moses gave you that bread. He said, but my Father. Hold up. He made a distinction and a separation between he and Moses. Like, Moses gave you that bread. Well, hold up. I thought that bread came from Yahweh, not from Moses. Oh, it was Moses who supposedly wrote it. Either way, Jesus ain't with it. He ain't having it. He's telling you the manna, trash. Me, better. I'm the goat. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written. He gave them bread from heaven to eat. And Jesus said, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father. My Father. He's letting you know right there that his Father, that's not the same God that Moses was worshiping. Okay? The law, the so-called Torah, the laws of Moses, was written by angels according to Paul. So it's not Jesus' Father. Because really Yahweh would be just another angel. He's just one of the Elohim. He's just the top Elohim in Israel. Really. Actually, he's a mythological character, guys. This ain't real. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert. I already read that 1,000 times. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven. So the manna Moses gave to the Israelites, I thought it came from Yahweh. Or God. That must not be the real God. That must not be Jesus' Father. Because if that was Jesus' Father who gave manna to the Israelites, I mean, they'd have the bread of life right there. So that's not Jesus' Father. This is like a dead giveaway. The bread of life story, parable, it's a parable. In John 6, it's a parable. It's an anti-Yahwistic parable. The bread of life parable in John 6 is an anti-Yahwistic parable. Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Because Jesus came down from heaven. He's not of this world, not a virgin either. He just came straight down from heaven. You guys didn't know about that part either. He came down from heaven. He's not from this planet. All right, so that's not even... That was a really good point I just made. I actually wanted to read John 10. Bro, I messed up. It's a good video. This will be the best video I made yet. I ain't gonna lie. This is pretty good. John 10. We're gonna hit that John 10. John 10 and 9. I am the door. Jesus said, I'm the door. He didn't say no Yahweh. He didn't say no laws of Moses. He said, I. I'm the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved. And he shall go out, in and out and find good pasture, or find pasture. The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Okay, guys, the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Throughout the entire Old Testament, who does the most killing? Did you guys ever count? I counted all the killings in the Bible once. Yahweh wins by a landslide. Nobody, he's beating everybody by 1,000, by millions. I think... I had AI tally up all the murders. AI estimated like it was in the millions. I was like, man, you gotta be off by about 1 billion or so, Because in the flood, how many billions died in the flood? So Yahweh is a murderer. So you got to see who fits to the description. All right, if somebody gives you a description and you're looking for a criminal, you got to find a criminal that fits the description. Don't be pointing at people that don't fit the description. Yahweh is a thief. He commands the Israelites to go genocide, sack villages and cities, and steal all their property. That's a thief. Jacob, Yahweh set it up so that Jacob stole his birthright. Yahweh's main representative, his main patriarch, Jacob, was a thief and a swindler. And you're not going to tell me otherwise. Because I have morality built in me through the Holy Spirit. And you can't trick me with your bullshit and your little Jew stories. You're not going to trick me. Jacob is a swindler, just like his father Yahweh. He's a swindler. And just like the people who still follow that religion today of the Old Testament, is a religion of swindlers. And they're doing just like Jacob did, swindling. And Jacob even means swindler. Literally, the word Jacob, that's my translation for the word. Jacob means swindler. That's literally what it means, bro. All right. All right, here we go. The thief comes not but to steal, kill, and destroy. I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. Yahweh ain't giving nobody life. Yahweh kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden to prevent them from obtaining eternal life. Genesis 3:22. Behold, man has become as one of us. Let's kick them out of the garden because they're going to be like us. Oh, fuck out of here. All right. He's a liar. He's a liar. Well, I had another. Let me go. I got to finish this lesson, bro. The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. So that's definitely Yahweh. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's a swindler. I am the good shepherd. So Jesus is the good shepherd. Yahweh's the bad shepherd. We just read Deuteronomy 28 about all the bad stuff. Yahweh. Because what is a shepherd supposed to do? A shepherd keeps watch over his sheep and he lets no harm come to them. You do not, even if you're angry at your sheep, say your sheep shit on you or he peed on you, or maybe your sheep ate something. He ate your favorite t-shirt. I don't know. He tore some stuff up. He's being a bad sheep. It's like, you're not going to kill him, are you? You're going to make him eat his own children? Are you going to hit him with a plague? No. You might cuss at him real quick, like, goddamn sheep. And then you forgive him, and now you're hugging and kissing him. You know, it's like, please forgive me. I didn't mean to hurt your sheep. You know, that type of, but not Yahweh. Look, Deuteronomy 28. He says, you disobey him. He said that sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look. It's talking about Yahweh so-called allowed his people to be carried away into slavery. So Yahweh's a bad shepherd. And that's what Jesus is talking about. The reason Jesus says he's the good shepherd is because their previous shepherd was very bad at his job. Okay, and he could not protect the people. He never protected the Jews ever, not once. He didn't protect them from the Babylonians, no protection. Okay, they got they had a little success against some Greeks. Okay, a little bit, barely. That didn't last long. They got totally obliterated by the Romans, bro. Okay, Yahweh's a bad shepherd. He don't never look after his sheep. Okay, a God that forsook his own people. They even got the prophets coping about it. Oh, God has not turned away from his people. Oh, he turned his back on you. Why? Because he don't exist. It's not even real. It's not even fucking real. Of course he turned his back on you. He's not fucking real. Jesus is real, though. I am the good shepherd. So that's the difference. Jesus protect his people. He laid down his life for the sheep. When Yahweh was nowhere to be found, because Jesus was a real historical person. Yahweh was nowhere to be found. The only person out there sticking up for the people was Jesus, and then they crucified him for it. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling, Yahweh, Moses, the Levitical priesthood, but he that is a hireling and not the shepherd whose own the sheep are not. See the wolf coming. Who's the wolf? The Romans. The Romans is the wolf, is the enemy of the Jews. And leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. It could have been any of the Romans, Babylonians, anybody, bro. Look, Yahweh never saved the Israelites from a damn thing. Jesus did. Jesus did a whole lot. He caused the sacrifices to stop. He had that dang on temple shut down. There ain't no more, no more temple religions going on. You know what I'm saying? Put an end to that shit. But the hireling fleeth because he is a hireling. He careth not for the sheep. Yahweh don't care for the sheep. Yahweh is constantly talking shit, talking about you're beneath me, you're below me. He's like, you're like grasshoppers in my sight. I was like, my ways are above your ways. That's what Yahweh says. He said, my ways are above your ways. You ain't nothing. You're like spit. Jesus says we'll do greater things than him. Totally different mindset. Okay, totally different. We're two different universes, bro. What are we talking about? As the Father knoweth me, even so I know I my Father. I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring. And people may make up all kind of crazy stuff about that part. I don't know why. But that's the point. Jesus is the good shepherd. Yahweh is the bad shepherd. Why would he have to say, I'm the good shepherd? Because there was another shepherd, and he didn't do a very good job. All right, the Jews or the Samaritans, anybody living in that region was getting messed up by the Romans pretty bad. Okay, when Yahweh didn't save them. Yahweh ain't save a motherfucking thing. All right. That's my video for today. I hope everybody has a nice, beautiful evening. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful. You know what I'm saying?